Hello everybody and welcome. Father Yahuah here, and I wanted to share a very good resource for doing Hebrew word studies without having to rely on the interpretation of another man or having to spend a lot of money on something that turns out to be basically Catholic rooted, like your Strong's, your BDB, and other resources. So this is how you use scripture, the Hebrew scriptures, to define Hebrew scriptures by doing a word search. Okay, so this is the web page that you go to find it. They have an online resource. If you do Scripture for All, you can actually search out and find the online version and use it on your smartphone. But the one that I'm talking about primarily and showing you here is the one that's installed. And I'm running Windows 7, so that's the program and the operating system that we'll be using here today. Now, when I jump in here, this is what you're going to see, and basically what you do in the upper left hand corner, for example, I would click on the OT and you select, they say, the book, the chapter, and the verse that you're wanting to look at. And what I've got called up here right now is Genesis 25:25 from a recent discussion that was had on the internet about the ruddy skin of Esau. In actuality, this Adonai doesn't mean ruddy at all. Actually, what it means is, since the ADM, the Adam, means man, and Unai is the plural possessive, so basically what it's saying here is the first man, Adam, Unai, plural possessive of us, or our man, basically referring to the first of the twins that were born between Jacob and Esau. So ruddy does not apply. The Jews or whoever else uses that term is trying to promote racism and that agenda that's caused us way too much trouble. So this is exposing that lie. There is one other place that this is used, and it talks about King David, or King David, when he was chosen by Samuel. And you can see here that, and he is sending, and he had come him, and he, ruddy, with lovely of eyes, ruddy. So King David was ruddy as well? No, basically what he's saying here, and he, being a man of us, or a man, our man, or our family, our united people, or whatever you want to call it, he's basically saying that he, David, is of us. And Samuel is talking about the covenant people, Israel. So that's kind of interesting, I thought. So let me show you how to do this. Basically what you do is you do a left mouse click on here, and I always go up one to the one that doesn't have the punctuation and the vowel pointings, because in the original Hebrew it never had it, so I don't need any kind of distractions about vowel pointings. So I would left click on that one then, and would pop up with this search query. Now you can type one in with all these characters up along here, but when you click on the word, it actually pops in right here, and then you go over here and you click search, and it gives you all your search results in a split screen window. So on the lower section down here you have both instances, and you can click between them by going over here, or you can do it over here. So that's kind of how you find the Hebrew word in every instance. Well, how can this be very useful, you might ask? It's not really hard to use once you get used to it, and it's extremely powerful because you can search out all of the Tanach, Old Testament if you prefer, in just a click of a button. Another really good example of what I like to share with people is the name of our Redeemer, Yahusha. I've got called up here Judges chapter 2 and verse 7. So if I click on that 7, it takes us right over here. And I've shared this with some people. I'm going to slide this down by just clicking on that and slide that down so you can see all of this. I don't necessarily agree with all that you see here. I actually do not use the Strong's, which is included with this, and you can add it to it by just clicking the setups up here, and you'll have the Strong's numbers. I don't use them because they're Catholic influenced and come from the Roman Catholic churches of the universities in New York City. But the reason I call this up is because this is talking about Yahusha, which is translated as Joshua. I wanted to point out a couple of things that Yahuah, there is the Tetragrammaton. They have it translated as Yahweh. I don't agree with that either. Yahuah is like Yahudah. You take out the D and of Yahudah, the tribe of the southern nation of Israel, and you have Yahuah. The Dalet is also symbolic of the door, so you open the door of Yehuda and they reveal to you Yahuah. Anyway, I use Yahuah. But notice the Tetragrammaton is here and it's down here. There's Moshe's name right there. So what we're looking at here is very important because I want to show you something here. This first instance of Yahusha, you read it from right to left on each word up here, then there's a transliteration right here, and finally their translation down below. Now this has the King James Version or something similar up here at the top to show you that translation. So we're going to get right into the Hebrew. You don't even have to know how to read Hebrew to be able to check this out. Now look, there's the Yod, the He, the Wa, the Shin, and the Ayin. That says Yah. Well, in this transliteration, the I pronounced as I or Yi, the Y sound. The E is kind of like the He of the Het, so it's Yahusha. The O is a Ah sound of the Ayin. So Yod, He, Wa, Shin, Ayin. Yahusha. Yahweh, all the days of Yahusha, and all the days of the old ones. Speaking in present tense here. This is very important. Yahusha, Yahweh, and all the days of Yahusha, and the days of Yahusha, when he was alive. Okay? Pay special attention to this, because Yahusha, in the days of Yahusha, and all of the days of the old ones, and they prolong the days after. So after, past tense now, we're coming into Yahusha. Oh, they spelled it different. Yahushua. See that? Yod, He, Wa, Shin, another Wa, and finally the Ayin. So Yahusha is present tense, and Yahushua is past tense. Or Yahusha is alive, currently alive, and Yahushua is past tense or deceased after the time of that person. So when you use that name, I just want you to think about Judges chapter 2 and verse 7. Okay, that's just a couple of examples. You can excuse me. You can scroll through over here too and click on whatever you want to be able to read. There is also a Concordant View, which you can pop up here and do a Strong's number search. But since I don't use that, I just slide it down and get it out of my way, because I don't use it at all. About the only thing that I ever use is the scripture search thing, which is right here. And it's just really, really powerful. You know, I use it a lot in my studies for word searches, and you can too. You can learn by the application of a specific word used in different instances and by the same author how to apply the word without using a concordance such as the Strong's, not a translation, the BDB, or anybody else. This is very powerful for those people that are feeling led to get back to the original roots of the ancient path of the Hebrew, because our covenant, which was made at Sinai, was actually of the Hebrew. This is the pure lip and the Kadosh language, and this is how we become Echad with the Father, is by learning His language. There's a lot of help here too, so you can kind of see as you look at this how to apply it as far as the helps. Again, I'll go over this. This is your Hebrew. You know, it's a good idea to learn the letters at least and kind of how they sound, and then after that you can really take off. But take a little time to learn the letters. There's a lot of little programs on YouTube to help you remember the letters, kind of like the ABCs and how they sound. Doesn't cost nothing. It's absolutely free. And in no time at all, you'll be saying the alphabet or singing the song. So there's the Hebrew that reads from right to left, going across here. The next line, reading from left to right, is the transliteration. They basically taken the Hebrew word, and by using American English characters, they try to make the same sound as the Hebrew word. Let's go back over here to Yahusha. You see the I, which is the Yod, the Y sound. The E in this situation actually is the H, it's the Cha. Yeah, and the E always makes the Cha sound. Yahu, the Wa, makes the U sound. The SH for the Shin, and the final O is the Ayin. So this is telling you how to say this Hebrew word. And once you get used to the little differences between the I and the E, the Y and the Ha, you can get it pretty quick, pretty easy. It takes a little practice, but it doesn't take long. Okay, so we have Yahusha. All the days of Yahusha. Okay, and the days after Yahushua. 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 The days after. The non-existent name. The name of the party deceased. Whew, that's heavy, ain't it? Anyway, it's a free download. It's easy to install. It works great. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to really get into the Hebrew word and to learn it and to learn the truth of Yahuwah's message and His original Hebrew Torah without the influences of another man's interpretation. So get it and enjoy it. I hope that you appreciate what's going on here and the truth that Yahuwah has for you in His Hebrew word. I hope you learn a lot from it and then you share it too. So do me a favor. Subscribe, share, comment, and remember, keep it Hebrew, keep it Torah, and keep it Yah made. Thank you. Bye now.